What's up, everybody? Let me share the link real fast on Twitter, and then I'll be right back. One second here. Let me get this tweet out. All right. Tweets out. What's up, everybody? I feel like it has been a bit of a stretch here without a single method and mindset episode. I wonder if you guys all felt the same way. It's been a minute. Let's get Kim in here. She can come in real fast. I think she's in. How's everybody been? Hey, there she is.
How you doing, man?
With your hand covering up the camera lens at first, I was like, who is this joining?
I was trying to turn up the volume on my phone to make sure I was connected with my AirPods. How have you been, Kim? I've been great. How about you, man?
I've been awesome.
Yeah.
Did some traveling, enjoying the holidays, family stuff.
Beautiful. The best. Where'd you travel to?
My wife's from Boston, so we went out to see her family for Thanksgiving.
Fantastic. It's always good to just travel. That's what I miss the most with what's happened with this past 2 years. It's just not the ability to really get to do that. So I'm glad you got to do it.
I think it was the day after we got out there, they started having the Omicron variant, and they were talking about I was like, dude, are we going to get stuck out here?
Exactly. You're like now Northeasterner.
You know, there's always pros and cons, right? Like I forgot how nice it is to trade on East Coast time zone. So there was that benefit, but it's so nice to be home.
I'm glad. So good to see you. It's good to be here today. It's been a while.
So, yeah, that's what I was saying before. I think most people had come in. I was like, man, it's been a minute here, but it's good to be ready to rock again with a new guest. If you guys are just first time seeing this, this is Method and Mindset with my beautiful co-host here, Miss Kim Ann Curtin, the Wall Street coach. Why don't you introduce yourself?
You know, you guys, I'm here to help traders with their EQ. I have a team of coaches, and my philosophy, if you want to understand it more, go to methodofmindset.com, sign up, because you're going to get hours of my philosophy for free. I'm not inexpensive, so if you want to get some really good value, not only do I have stuff there for free, but so does Ricky. I talk about ego and gremlins, the fear of failure, the fear of success. I talk about greed. I talk about FOMO. I talk about discipline. And then, Ricky, what do you talk about in there? You have like hours of content too.
I don't know. I think there's a few in there. One is like for preparing for earnings plays. There's, I just cover the technical side of trading, guys. Hopefully the stuff over there is really valuable, but I actually was thinking maybe as a Christmas gift to everybody, I might swap out some videos and put some new ones in.
Wow.
So we'll discuss that later. I'm sure Benito now is going, why is he
doing that? Exactly.
But yeah, so if you guys are on Twitter or have other social media areas where you have a following, or please do us a favor real fast and share the link to this. We'd love to get as many people in here watching it live. Even though we do post these to YouTube later on, so you guys can go back and watch them.
It's fun to be here live, but you don't get to see the fun comments when you're watching in YouTube. And half the time, the comments are killer good. So.
Yeah, yep. And that's another thing, guys. Keep the comments coming. Let us know. If you guys have good questions in there, and we have a little time towards the end, we may come back around to them.
Absolutely.
But, we're approaching 2 o'clock here, so I'm going to see if our guest is ready in the wing.
Okay.
This is Eek, and I believe his name is Erik. It's just EEEEEEK or something on Instagram. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Ricky and Kim.
How you doing?
Good. I'm Erik.
It's nice to put a face to the name. Erik's been following along a lot of the Instagram lives that I've always done, and I think he's always on yours too, Kim. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, this is actually like my wife's old Instagram profile, and so I kind of just took over it because I wanted to follow all the trader people, and I don't know, I look kind of scammy if I just had a new account with like no followers. So just to kind of explain the weird name and
wow, what a
yeah.
great wife she's letting you take
But
that.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think it was a weird name. I thought it was perfect for a trader.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Me too. It's like
That's the noise you make. That's the noise you make when a trade starts going against you.
Seriously.
I think most traders are going to think that's what that name means. So I would just run with it like you were brilliant to come up with it.
So, Erik, Erik, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and what you want to address today?
Cool. So I've been trading for about like 2.5 years now. Started out the same as kind of everybody, just buying whatever was the hot stock on StockTwits and buying breakouts and getting dumped on. And then took a break for a bit. And then I started like scalping options, and that kind of what got me to break even. But I was kind of having a hard time finding like some consistency after like a few months with that. And I noticed a lot of the small cap guys on the short side were having like a lot of plays, and this is in 2020. And so I started to learn the shorting side of small caps, and basically in the beginning of 2021 up until this point, that's where I've like found my consistency and kind of been building up. And I just went full time actually, partly for like personal reasons and also just because right now I'm pretty young, like I'm 26, and my wife's supportive of it, and we just like, oh, this is the time to take a risk and try stuff, you know, before we have more responsibilities than what we have now, and we can pull it off. So just figured better to make the jump. And I'm in Hawaii, by the way, so it was really hard.
I was gonna ask, dude, the fan behind your head.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
The fan
think you
came
might
away.
be neighbors with Kim.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm on Kauai.
Okay.
This is where I'm from originally.
Okay.
I was actually in San Diego for like the past 6 years after
Wow.
I went to school, and then I worked for a bit. I was in Point Loma, which
Wow.
it seems like you're close by there or something.
Yeah,
Ricky. But yeah, it was just getting hard to do like the trading thing on top of work at the same time. I was just really tired, like trying to work. And then I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing anyway. So it's like, oh, like, let's just try this, you know, try trading full time and see how it goes. But yeah, I guess kind of what I wanted to talk about was just like having gone like recently going full time, feeling like this, I feel like some sort of social pressure a little bit of like not having like the standard like job, I guess, while my wife's working. So that's one thing. And I feel like the pressure to like, I can't fail, otherwise I just look really bad. And
Can I interrupt you right there?
sure. Yeah.
Can I want to just, I have your permission to coach you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Who is the pressure? Who's the person or people? The pressure if you fail.
I think it's more just family, and they're not like putting it on me. It's just I'm putting the expectation on myself of like,
Yep.
Because I know like what the general person thinks. It's like, oh, it's risky and whatnot, and they haven't been discouraging or anything towards me, but it's more just maybe it's my pride, if anything, to be honest.
Good job. So what we've just identified is that it's not actually external. It's an internal expectation you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Erik, can you see that that's really important to just have that distinction?
Yeah, I know. And I can logically like understand that, but the feeling that I feel inside it's hard to kind of make that connect, I guess.
Absolutely. And we're not going to ask, I'm not even suggesting you not feel that yet, but I just want you to really see though, that this is about an internal dynamic, not external. It's not your friends and family. It doesn't even sound like it's your wife. It sounds like this is you, Erik versus Erik. Erik having very big expectations about himself. We gotta identify the enemy before we can take a strategic plan, right?
For sure.
So the enemy is you, and like you said, your ego, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Okay.
just don't want
Okay.
I don't want to like look bad or something, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. So tell me about that, because looking bad, like what does that mean about someone when they look bad, when they fail? What does that mean about them?
I guess that I don't know, like how I feel. How I don't. It's not how I look at other people that fail, but how I feel. I guess like oh, like you suck if you failed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Can you see that that's like a big crazy gun that's being held to your head right now?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know
Right.
it's like stupid pressure.
Well,
Um,
it's not stupid pressure. It's just pressure. So the two words I'm going to introduce to you is curiosity and neutrality. What happens if you start to step into neutrality about how you do, and you step into curiosity about what's coming up for you? There's nothing wrong with having a like high expectation for yourself, but the problem is when it's completely unreasonable, your self-esteem gets tied to that.
mm,
And so if you're not perfect, you're going to feel like shit. That's a setup for failure, right?
yeah, for sure.
So it doesn't mean you don't have big, lofty goals, but you want them to be in proportion to the fact that you're only 2 years in.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I know it's like have to have the long term mindset for sure, and
Yeah,
not put so
because
much pressure.
because right now losing for you equals I'm an idiot.
Yeah, then this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And imagine like somebody tells you that you just met that they are going into the most competitive game in the world and they are still learning it, and it's only been 2 years. Would you be thinking, wow, what an idiot, he hasn't figured it out in 2 years, the most competitive game in the world?
no, yeah, and I think yeah, I'm always like trying to compare myself to like other people and whatnot, and like oh they made it or they got to this point during X amount of time, and
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and I know
But
it's
you
just
have
not
no
good.
idea what those variables are. You're not at, whenever we compare ourselves to somebody else, we're never actually doing an accurate comparison, because we have no idea whether they have developed a drug addiction while they did that. We don't know if they had, a genius around certain skill set or 15 mentors who told them exactly what to do. Like, you don't know anything about that person you're comparing yourself to, and you don't even know today if they have blown up since you were looking at their, great acumen,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So compare equals despair. Put that on a post-it and on your trading screen.
It's a good one.
When it's a good one. I didn't make it up. I wish I could take credit for it. But it's important. You got to compare yourself only to where you were yesterday. Are you a
That's good.
little bit
Yeah.
wiser? Are you wiser than a year ago? Are you more knowledgeable than last month? That's
Yeah.
what you want to ask yourself. All right, Ricky, I'll let you run with
Right
it.
on. Right on. I love when Kim goes first because I always get a million things that pop in my head. I'm like, oh, this is perfect, right? So first off, guys, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Nothing I'm gonna say is financial advice, right? It's just my opinion, and it's just for entertainment purposes. But you're exactly right, Kim. Like, most
Mm.
competitive thing in the world, and 2 years is still very, very infant in terms of where a lot of people are in their journey, right? And this is a crazy journey because it doesn't have an endpoint. Trading's really funny. It's literally a career of failing forward. You literally have to fail to learn certain lessons. You literally have to fail to grow into the person that you need to be be successful. And so the scary part about doing it full time is that you do have this added pressure of like not being able to fail. And that's not possible in trading. There is no not failing in trading. Now, there is a humongous difference between failing because you make giant mistakes that are very avoidable and failing, like taking smart losses, right? So when you go full time and you have a wife, or in the future when you have kids, it's so much different because you are only allowed to take losses that were smart. You can't be doing the gambler routine that so many traders do that don't have people that are counting on them, right? You have to understand that, like, this is serious. This is a job, and it has to, you have to be like your own boss and be like, I have to conduct myself in a way where if I was looking at my performance, I wouldn't want to fire myself. So hold yourself to really high standards in terms of discipline, but don't ever feel like you can't take losses. Losses are just part of it. Just make sure they're smart. And one thing I will say right off the bat, if this is your only source of income, make sure you have a max loss set where you're broken, because blowing up your account is not an option. That is not okay. So do the things that need to be done to protect yourself. And then I also want you to think longer term also, because one of the things I'm going to tell you right now is all the really, really successful traders I know that make millions and millions of dollars, do you know what they do once they get super successful? They start other businesses. They are always looking for other streams of income. Like my mentor, Adriano, who's over at True Trader, right? He's by far one of the more successful guys I've ever met in my life. He has his hands in everything from real estate. He went and got his first tattoo at the age of, like, I don't want to put his age on blast, right? He's a little older than me. He got his first ever tattoo. And you know what he did? He ended up having a conversation with a tattoo artist, and they now co-own a tattoo shop. That's his thought process. His mentality is, I want to make money in all these different areas. And, so as newer traders that go full time, people are always thinking like, I want to only trade. But the more mature traders going, no, I want to trade so I can have money to invest in other things.
That's it. Side hustles. Side hustles, the name of the game. You can't not be in social media and not hear Gary Vaynerchuk constantly screaming it to us every freaking day, right?
Yeah, and that guy makes a lot of money, right? But he still wants
side hustles.
Always looking for the next thing. And so the other thing is, like what you were saying about comparing yourself to other people, and what Kim was saying is 100% spot on. But I would add to that you don't even know that they're telling the truth. Like, there's so many people on social media that want you, and everyone's guilty of it, even me. When you post something on social media, you're putting your best foot forward at all times. Like, and this is funny, we just started, today was the first day, but me and another guy on Twitter, Papa John, who's Sublime Trades, we agreed last night that the rest of the month we're going to post all of our losses, our charts, right? Because people only post their wins, right? They just post all their perfect trades. Well, that's far from what the real picture is. So today I only had one loss. It was on Facebook, but it's the one chart I'm posting. And that is because
that's powerful.
It's breaking out of that whole like stigma of trying to put forward a fake facade. Like, we're human. I take losses. And I think if people realize how often I take losses, they'd be like, damn, Ricky, I didn't realize you could lose that much and still be profitable. And that's kind of what I want people to understand. I want you to know that losses are part of the game. The only thing that's not okay is taking losses that are larger than you needed to take, right? They need to be responsive. So keep those kinds of things in mind as you move forward, because you are embarking on a crazy journey, brother. And I really, really do wish you the best on this. And like, I've known you through Instagram for quite a while now, and like you've had dialogue with me in some of the other Instagram lives and stuff. So like, make sure you understand, like, you've got a line to me, you've got a line to Kim. You can reach out to people.
That's right.
We're gonna bring you in over at True Trader as well after this is over, and you're gonna actually get to meet my mentors, right? And the guy I was just telling you about. So these are the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. You want to absorb everything from, because they're wise, and the wisdom, it can be absorbed, and you don't have to learn everything the hard way, right?
For sure.
Can I recommend a documentary I'd like you to consider watching?
Sure.
It's called The Mask, M-A-S-K, You Live In. The Mask You Live In. And
That's not the one with Jim Carrey, is it?
No, it's not. Right, yeah. So this movie is about just how the culture, just of Western culture, puts this really inappropriate expectation on men to be perfect, basically. To be, all that in a bag of chips. And because that pressure is so surrounding all of us, it's hard not to, unconsciously run in that direction. And that's part of why, for you, failing or not succeeding is so much pressure attached to that.
Yeah.
Yo, Erik, what did you do before you just went full-time trading? What was your work?
I'm a software developer.
Okay.
And I would have kept. Well, I wasn't really enjoying the job I had at the moment. But then also the timing of waking up, I wake up at 2:00, and then working after that was just, I was so tired, and it was really hard to focus on my work afterwards.
Totally.
Yeah.
Erik, is it possible, and I don't know if this is the right thing or not, I just throw it out there, but is it impossible doing what you do that you could just have a couple of side hustles a couple times a month where you just take some consulting gigs for, I don't know, 10 hours a month or something?
Yeah, that's definitely something I've been looking into, for sure. Is
yeah.
I just wanted to see how the first few months we're gonna go, just to focus on trading, and then totally definitely open-minded to, and probably will in the future pick up some side contracting stuff with development.
It just puts a little bit of a less psychological pressure on yourself that it all has to be, and to be honest, I think that is also perhaps the one place to look. Are you in a position to go 6 months or a year without making profit as a trader, so that you can let this be your learning curve, not to take those risks that are inappropriate, as Ricky cautioned you, but do you have that leverage?
Yeah. So I built my account to a point where I kind of wanted to.
Great.
In September, and then I just wired out from then till now, basically, and my wife and I we have in our account, our bank account, enough of my income for a year, basically.
Perfect.
And even if I didn't make any money, just with her income, we're able to get by and break basically $0 or maybe $500 after all the expenses a month. But so that whole aspect, the financial part really isn't what's stressing me out. It's more just thinking about it, and this is a small cap market. This past week and a half or so, it's been kind of tough, at least for me. I don't know everybody else is killing it or not, but for me, it's been kind of hard. Just a lot of price action that doesn't really match my style. I guess.
And it could be that part of what you're learning now is what is going to be your style. And we all know that those styles are going to come and go. There's going to be opportunities for that style and opportunities when that style is not going to be. So you're going to also then have to get comfortable not trading, right? And waiting, which is a pain in the neck. Nobody likes to wait. But that is also part of that. It's what you're developing now is a new collection of muscles. These are emotional muscles to start to get comfortable with the discomfort of waiting, comfort with the discomfort of failure, reasonable failure, right? You want to see this time as an education. You're stepping into an education, and this education is going to cost you. It's going to cost you time, energy, your stomach. Sometimes your stomach's going to feel sick to its, you're going to feel sick to your stomach. It's going to cost you money, but hopefully the reasonable amount, because you're going to take Ricky's advice. So you want to think, okay, I'm going to school every day, and some days I'm not going to know what the hell just went down, but that's part of this development.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I think what you said about, yeah, some days just like hands off, like no trading. That's something that, oh man, I hope I can get there one day. It's to that level of discipline and
dude,
just,
I would say
yeah.
you don't want to trade unless you are positive you have that discipline now, because then that tells you you are on its leash. You're not the man who's in charge of your decisions. There's some other kind of entity instead of you. You have to be driving this bus all the time. If you have your gremlin or inner saboteur, get behind that wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my French, but you are, you know what? So
Yeah.
maybe consider the book Taming Your Gremlin.
Okay.
Because that talks about how we have these inner saboteurs that drive us, and make us do things, and we're like, "Ooh, I'm not even in control anymore." You gotta be in control, dude. You can't be a trader and not be in control of sitting there and not trading when it's not appropriate to. What the hell are you gonna do in there? Do something you don't even know you're doing just so you're busy?
Yeah, and I think that's, I know it's just kind of the paradox, or it's like it's not normal compared to like most things where to be productive, you have to do something, whereas trading is not like that, and it's all opportunity based. And yeah, definitely slowly like just building up that muscle, I guess, getting that idea through my head. I'm pretty stubborn, I think, when it comes to like certain things, and
you're not as stubborn as the market, my friend.
Yeah.
So it'll quickly teach you that as stubborn as you are, you will say uncle, and you want to get comfortable saying uncle. It's not a demerit against your fortitude, your wisdom, or your masculinity. It's simply the nature of the biggest game in town.
Well, you living in Hawaii, Eric, you should understand it's very relatable to the ocean, the power of the market. You don't turn your back on it, right? And don't ever think that your boat is too big to get sank. And because I've seen guys, and that's the scary part, right? It's like you're 2 years in, you're just going full time, and there's no guarantee. Yep. Like I've seen guys with multi-million-dollar accounts just get obliterated in a trade, and it was because of a 30-second lapse of judgment. So like that's where the max loss with the broker comes in. Like that's where knowing that don't ever tell yourself a loss probably can't get any worse, because it can. There's a lot of stuff. Are you journaling?
Yeah. What I do is I screenshot my charts every day and kind of I write down like my thought process and everything. But also I have like whenever I have an Evernote notebook, I guess, that I journal like specific like days that kind of stick out to me like emotionally. But not my emotions on a daily basis. But
what I would do is keep a notepad, like just a loose leaf or whatever, on your desk, and jot down notes about your emotions while you're working. And because one of the things when you go full time, what you're doing is you need to keep some sort of like speedometer on your emotions, right? You need to keep them constantly observed and make sure like you don't want to be blindsided by, holy cow, I didn't realize that this was getting out of control because I hadn't really been documenting it. And if you write things down, you're going to start to notice stuff. You might, after a few days of having to write the same thing, you might be like, damn, all right, I need to take some control of this or fix this. Because the truth of the matter is that the emotional side of it is going to be make or break for you.
Yeah.
Like Kim was pointing out, right? Like
Yep.
you've got to identify, one, that you're your own worst enemy, and that you got to keep yourself in check because, you know, it's your sole source of income right now. And at the same time, you can't have that thought in the back of your head every time you put a trade on, right? You have to put trades on because your system says that this is a setup, right? And so it's keep things as black and white as possible. That's going to keep the emotions out. Like we've talked a lot about that recently. It's just systematizing things where it's, you know, that way it's not about you. You weren't wrong. You weren't. You just did what you were supposed to do.
That's right.
And then the trade takes care of itself.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey, hey Erik, do you know Shane Dorian?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. So big wave surfer, right?
Yep.
So Shane, I had Shane on my podcast. It's dropping next week. And
cool.
I want to just tell you something about Shane. He's a trader as well. He talks about how when he waits for the perfect wave. And he talked about this story where he spent all his money on a last minute ticket to Portugal. He spent all the money to have his crew. He did all these things, right? Super pricey. Gets there, had a bit of a runny nose, didn't sleep well the night before, just wasn't feeling he was at his A game. He said, I spent all that money, spent all that time. This is like a gorgeous opportunity. And I could tell I wasn't at 100%. He said, and my ego, I was able to not listen to it and say, this is not my time to take this wave. That's the universe saying this is important. That's like the underline in that guy's bite just now. So that's what I'm saying to you, right? He is now able to, with his experience, right, as a surfer, he knows, like, even when all of those things are there, if he's not feeling it, he's got to pass on it. That is what you have to get to with your trading. You have to know, okay, I really wish I could do this, and this is not exactly the strategy I have, and I have to pause.
Yeah, that for sure, and that's definitely something I've been putting in work to get better at that. I recently just kind of made my strategy like systematized to the point where like I just have like a signal that pops up on the chart that tells me like to get in, and like to my back testing and even forward testing just the past like few weeks, like it works well, but there's a part of me that's still like it's hard to let go of the control part of it and just trust let this objective thing give me input versus like my own thing.
You're not going to do that forever. I presume you're going to do that for a period of time. So it's I'm going to test this and see how it does. And I'm going to do it for 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. You have to come up with what that is. But that is, it for you to sit there and watch to see if it's working every day, it's like just tempting you to potentially go a different direction. You have to get clear, but why don't you talk on that, Ricky?
Well, I think it's a perfect thing to kind of like sum this whole talk up and kind of like have this as one of the good takeaways, especially for everyone out there listening to this. And that is really, really good trading is boring as fuck. It should be. If it's not, and that's like what you're kind of getting at right there is like, it sucks to sit and just wait for this thing to tell me to put the trade on, because we want to feel like it's our brain, it's our genius that's making the ATM of the stock market spit money out at us, but it's not the system, right? So really good trading is boring. And if you're doing things because it's bringing excitement or whatever, then you're not really trading for the purpose of trading, you know, as a job. You're getting some other need fulfilled through it. And
that's right. And maybe that's something too. I'm positive that we talk about this in the Method of Mindset. The methodofmindset.com, there's a bunch of videos in there. I'm positive one of the talks that I have in there talks about how sometimes we try to get our needs met in our trading. And if you're trying to get your needs met, like adventure, Erik, or your need for, respect, right? Self-respect. If you're trying to get those needs met in the market, it's going to be super costly. The market is not really there to meet your needs, right?
No.
It's just not. So you want to see if you can identify, am I trying to get my need for adventure met right now? Well, lucky you. You live in Kauai. Go walk on the Nepali coastline, dude, for adventure. That hike is so freaking scary and slippery and wet and high. That'll give you some adventure, but don't do it in your trading.
Yeah, honestly, I think you have a bit of a good thing going for you in Hawaii where when you're trading, it's still dark out. So get your work done and then go enjoy the rest of your day in the beautiful paradise you live in, right?
Yeah. That's what I said I wanted to do, like, when I went for time, and then I'm still, like, I find myself sitting there, like, the whole day. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, like, do I want to just take the morning move and be done, or, like, try to hold for the whole day, and it's just...
It kind of depends on your system, but I'm telling you right now, like, the big easy money is in the first hour. And that's so perfect for you because even if you need to work a job, you can, right? And that goes for even if you're on the East Coast, people can work that first hour and have like an afternoon job or whatever. But on the West Coast where I'm at, I'm done by 7:30 in the morning, and I could have another job if I wanted. You're in Hawaii, you'd be done at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and you could work or you can go enjoy your life. But remember that like trading is supposed to be a means to an end. It's not supposed to consume you.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric, go to my Twitter and look at one of the tweets I put out today called The Nothingness of Money, I think it's called. It's a fascinating article because it talks about that concept that Rick, you just said about that the money, like this concept of the money, or trading, it's a means to an end. Like it's so you can go surf, so you can go have time with your kids, like Ricky constantly lets us know, look, this is what I'm doing it for, people. This is my family. This is what it's about. Get connected to that, because if you don't get connected to it now, you'll never get connected to it. And no matter how much you have, it'll never be enough.
Yeah, that's good advice. I think that part, like stepping away or like not trying to capture, not being okay, not capturing every cent, I think is kind of like my FOMO a little bit. Like, oh, if I'm not there at the desk and like this opportunity pops up and I'm out surfing instead, like I'm gonna be pissed that I missed it or something. And it's just, I don't know.
You're gonna be pissed only if you keep having perfection as your goal. But what if you're like, yeah, I missed it, but damn, those waves are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Dude, I've seen it so many times where people get that morning move and they like say, I want more, and then it bounces on them.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, they make an extra 20 cents, but they had to sit in front of their computer for 4 more hours. Bro, that ain't worth it. That ain't where it's at, man.
I know,
that's not life.
It's so tilting, and like that's what always happens. Not always happens, but at least the past few weeks, that's what's been happening a lot to me. It's like I'll be up, like for a small cap, like a good amount of like cents per share or whatever, or like 1%. But like my final target in my system hasn't hit, and it's like a really, like that final target's like supposed to capture like the whole thing basically, more or less. And so like often it doesn't hit, but like there's these closer targets that do end up hitting, but I don't want to take them there, and then it bounces, and then I'm stuck in the dilemma of like, well, it's just up this much, and now I don't want to take it off, and then
you just take partials at your other targets, and then you put a range order, an OCO order in for your final target or your next stop, and then you go surfing. Because staring at the chart isn't going to make the price go where you want.
I know.
But I think you got your work cut out for you. I think Kim gave you plenty of really good actionable advice.
Definitely,
and, like I said, we'll be in touch. So like I'm hoping that there was a lot of good takeaways from this. I hope everybody else watching this got some goodness from it. And I know people watching this appreciate you for coming on and opening up about your journey, brother.
You're gutsy, man. Gutsy, Eric. Good job, you.
Thanks.
You got this. You got it.
All right. Well, thank you for another great episode of Method and Mindset. Remember, everybody, check out methodandmindset.com. Follow my good friend here, Kim Ann Curtin, on Twitter and on Instagram. You guys can find me on Twitter, Ricky Analog, YouTube. Go watch the How to Dig videos. See everybody next episode. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Thanks,
Aloha.
guys.
Aloha. Bye, Erik.